Once upon a time, there lived a stone cutter. Every day, he worked tirelessly, cutting blocks of stone from the rocky cliffs. His tools were simple, just a hammer and chisel, and his work was hard. Yet the stones he shaped were used to build homes, temples, and bridges. Though his work was important, the stone cutter often felt unappreciated and unhappy with his life. He would gaze at the homes of the rich, with their grand gardens and fine clothes, and think to himself, if only I could live like them, I'd be happy. One sunny day, as the stone cutter worked under the blazing heat, he heard the sound of a golden carriage passing by. He paused, wiping sweat from his brow, and watched in awe. Inside the carriage sat a wealthy man, dressed in luxurious silk, surrounded by servants who catered to his every need. The stone cutter sighed deeply and muttered, "Why must I live such a hard life? If only I could be that rich man, my troubles would be over." To his astonishment, a strange thing happened. A voice from the air whispered, "Your wish is granted." In an instant, the stone cutter found himself in fine clothes, sitting in the golden carriage. He was no longer the poor stone cutter. He was the wealthy man he had envied. At first, the stone cutter was delighted. He lived in a grand house with servants to cook, clean, and care for him. He dined on the finest foods and never had to lift a finger. For a while, he thought his dream had come true. But soon, he began to notice the downsides of his new life. The servants whispered behind his back. Neighbors envied him, and he found himself constantly worrying about his money and possessions. Even in his luxurious home, he didn't feel truly happy. One day, as he looked out from his grand balcony, he saw a mighty king riding through the village on a horse. The villagers cheered and bowed as the king passed by. The stone cutter thought, "This man has real power. Everyone respects him. If only I could be a king, then I'd finally be happy." Again, the mysterious voice whispered, "Your wish is granted." In the blink of an eye, the stone cutter became the king. He wore a jeweled crown and sat on a grand throne in a magnificent palace. Soldiers obeyed his every command, and his subjects bowed before him. At first, the stone cutter was overjoyed. He could order anything he wanted and was surrounded by luxury. But it didn't take long for him to realize that being king wasn't as wonderful as he had imagined. As king, he was always surrounded by advisors, guards, and officials. He couldn't make a single move without someone watching or questioning his decisions. The weight of responsibility was overwhelming. Every day, he had to make tough choices, solve problems, and worry about his kingdom's safety. One hot afternoon, the stone cutter looked out from his palace window and noticed the blazing sun shining down on everything. Its heat was so powerful that even he, the mighty king, could do nothing to stop it. He thought to himself, "The sun is far greater than any king. It gives life to the whole world. If only I could be as powerful as the sun, I would truly be happy." Once again, the mysterious voice whispered, "Your wish is granted." In an instant, the stone cutter transformed into the sun. He floated high in the sky, shining brightly over the world. As the sun, he felt incredibly powerful. He could light up the day, warm the earth, and help plants grow. He thought to himself, "Now, I have finally found true power." But soon, the stone cutter noticed something troubling. A large, fluffy cloud drifted into the sky and blocked his rays. Try as he might, he couldn't shine through the cloud. It made him realize that even the sun, with all its power, could be overshadowed by something as simple as a cloud. The stone cutter began to feel frustrated. "Maybe the cloud is the most powerful thing in the world," he thought. "If I could be the cloud, then I'd be happy." Once again, the mysterious voice whispered, "Your wish is granted." The stone cutter transformed into a massive, fluffy cloud floating high in the sky. He drifted peacefully, shading the earth below and controlling where the sun's rays could touch. At first, the stone cutter felt powerful. He brought rain to thirsty fields and cooled the heat of the sun. People looked to the sky in gratitude when he shaded them, and he thought, this must be true happiness. But soon, he noticed something troubling. The wind began to blow, pushing him across the sky. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't resist the wind's force. It carried him wherever it wanted, scattering him into smaller and smaller pieces. Frustrated, the stone cutter thought, the wind is stronger than I am. If I could be the wind, I'd finally be free and happy. The voice whispered, you still don't get it, but it's fine. Your wish is granted. In an instant, the stone cutter became the wind. He roared across the land, bending trees, stirring up waves, and scattering leaves. He was unstoppable, blowing wherever he pleased. At first, the stone cutter felt untouchable. Nothing could hold him back or control him. He swept through valleys and over mountains, feeling freer than ever before. But as he traveled, he came upon a towering rock. He tried to move it, push it, or wear it down, but no matter how hard he blew, the rock remained firm. The stone cutter grew frustrated once more. Even the wind cannot defeat the rock. The rock must be the strongest thing in the world. If I could be the rock, then I'd finally find happiness. The mysterious voice whispered, your wish is granted. The stone cutter transformed into a giant rock, solid and unmovable. He stood tall on the mountainside, feeling invincible. Neither the sun nor the wind could harm him. At first, the stone cutter felt content. Nothing could disturb his peace, and he thought, finally, I've become the most powerful thing on earth. But one day, he felt a sharp, rhythmic tapping. He looked down and saw a stone cutter chipping away at him with a hammer and chisel. Bit by bit, the stone cutter was shaping pieces of the rock into blocks for building. The rock thought, this stone cutter, with his simple tools, is stronger than I am. He has the power to change me, to shape the world. If only I could be the stone cutter again, I would finally be happy. But this time, nothing happened. He still remained a rock. He tried many times, but still nothing happened. Years passed, and every day, he wished he could return to be the stone cutter again. But nothing happened. The story taught us an important lesson. We often look at others and wish we were like them, believing that's happiness. But the stone cutter learned that comparing yourself to others steals your joy. True happiness is being happy with you and what you do.